My name is Michael McGee from Odense Science Lab, and I'm here in Randers Regnskov, a rainforest zoo in western Denmark. Behind me, the burrows of the naked mole rat. An incredible creature, a mammal that lives in colonies on the east of Africa. They're cute in their own way. As you can see, they're hairless. They're also totally blind. They live under the ground. They use those big gnashers in the front of their face to dig burrows. They have a structure to their burrow, these naked mole rats. They have a den where they sleep. They have a place where they poo. And they even, if some of them die, they bring them to a special chamber and they leave the bodies there. They try to avoid going up in the open because they're at risk of predation from snakes in particular. And they have a queen. There's a queen of the colony. It's incredibly unique, particularly for not only mammals but for vertebrates. And having a queen means that it's only the queen that actually gives birth to offspring. And the offspring are sterile. That means that they do not have the ability to reproduce. That in itself is an incredible point of evolution, of genetics. Because evolution is essentially genes getting passed on to the next generation. I could have offspring, you could have offspring, and then our genes would get passed on to the next generation. And our children would then have those genes who would then pass it on to the next generation. But that's not the only way that our genes can get passed on to the next generation. I share half the genes of my father and my mother. I share half the genes of my siblings as well. So if I could help them to pass on their genes, then I'm also helping my genes to pass on to the next generation. Same for my cousins. 8 of my cousins would have the same genetic material as one of me. 2 of my siblings would have the same genetic material on average as one of me. So, evolutionarily speaking, I could give up my life if it could help 8 of my cousins pass on their genes, or 2 of my siblings to pass on their genes. The extreme of that is shown in species like the naked mole rat. The workers, the sterile workers, they actually share up to 80% of their genes. Not just 50, 80%. That's because there's just one queen and one male pumping out the next generation. And because of the way it works, 80% of the genes are shared between the sisters. So if you look from the individual's sister's perspective, if they had their own offspring, they would only pass on 50% of their genes. But if they help the queen produce more offspring, they're passing on 80% of their genes to the next generation. So that's why it makes sense for the individual in the naked mole rat community to be sterile and to work for the good of the colony so that more sisters can be produced. That's one of the reasons why the naked mole rat is one of the most interesting animals in the world. They also show remarkable characteristics. They can't get cancer. Still don't know why. They live until they're about 30 years of age, which is unique for a rodent of that size. And as they get to that age, they show no signs of aging. No arthritis, no weakness, none of that. They also don't really feel pain on their skin. It's probably good because they tend to bite each other now and again with those big gnashers. And they can survive in really low oxygen concentrations because they live in these burrows underground. So they're really quite remarkable, and as you can see, they're quite cute in their own way. That characteristic of having a queen is also seen in the bees, the wasps, and the termites. And I have another video as part of this series at Randers Regnskov where I look at the leafcutter ant, and they're remarkable because they also, like the naked mole rats, eusocial with the queen and the sterile workers, but they also pick leaves to harvest fungus so they can eat it. So they're kind of like a farmer ant. So check that one out, and if you have any questions about this video and about eusociality in the animals, write it in the comments, let me know, and I'll do my best to clarify it for you. Thanks for watching.